Good morning. It's about 9, what would it be? I think it's about 9:30 a.m. and it's 7 degrees. And I feel like it's time for a farm tour because we are very close to the end of winter. And I'm just thinking if we get this in now, I can show you everything that we've been working on, especially since having the John Deere equipment, and where things are up to now leading into spring, because I feel like things are about to start taking off. And I feel like the farm is going to look so different this season. I'm so excited. So I thought I'd just take you for a walk around. We might do a bit more of a detailed look at everything. And there's a couple of things I can't show you, but I'll just keep those out of camera. You will see those soon. And let's just get straight into it. A little bit overcast today. The patio is actually starting to bloom up. The little tete-a-tete daffodils mixed in with some pansies, and I'm looking at some weeds as well. I do have a hydrangea in there. It didn't do very well, so I'm just going to see what happens. I've got my native violets over here that they're over here as well. I just love them so much. A lot of Australian plants, native Australian plants, have a very distinct look, and I feel like these little native violets are just so different. It almost looks a little bit English, gives me English like cottage vibes. So I think it's a pretty fun thing to have in the garden, and they love it here, I think, because our climate is a bit cooler, and in the summer they sit under trees or in shaded areas and they just thrive. Let's have a little look. Don't you think they're beautiful? My grandmother died a couple of months ago, and this was apparently her favourite flower. They're really nice, and some people do make little tiny bouquets with them. You can actually get little vases that are specially made for these little tiny violets. And that's why I have these in pots. They look a bit scraggly, but once they get into the ground, they'll take off. And this is to give the family members, just so they've got a little piece of my grandmother in their backyards. You often see these little violets growing around the bases of tanks, like in the shady side of a water tank. And it's because they like moisture. So they love those places where it's sort of, they can do dark actually, but very shady, very moist, and usually tucked away. So I am surprised that I'm able to grow them here on my path, but it is on the south side of the tree. And here in the southern hemisphere, and particularly Australia, on the south side of buildings and trees and structures, that's where we get all our shade. So I know in the northern hemisphere, it's on the north side of structures that is the most shadiest. Here where we are, it's on the south. So they're actually in a very shady area, and they grow beautifully, and I think they're so cute. So if you ever get a chance to grab some and get them in, oh, they do take over. Hard to get rid of if you ever want to get rid of them. But I mean, in my heart, like, why would I want to get rid of them? Okay, you can see our driveway. So this was one of the projects with John Deere. I've got another load of the crushed concrete. I will be filling in little spots where I think what's happened is it was where there were more moist spots and it's dipped down. So I need to top those up. I'll do that all the way along the driveway, and then up behind here where we can go around with the cars, we need to completely do that. But I have had a little bit of advice about that, and I need to scoop out a lot of the soft base, pack it out with the concrete. So it's actually going to use a lot more up the back. So we'll probably get another big, maybe a 12-ton truck. It sounds like a lot, but it seems to not go very far. And you can see the entire property is actually very ripped up at the moment. I need to put the drone up and get some footage of that, just because it looks terrible. And I feel like I might like to have some footage of that before the grass grows back. This is really compacted. I need to fix this up, probably aerate it. The grass will just come back. It's kikuyu, so it'll grow no problems. But as we're walking past, I need to water this because we haven't had much rain this winter. This is the ranunculus. And if you remember from last season, they looked absolutely amazing. It was such a happy space. And these little flowers, these grow all winter and they survive deep frost. Like we went down to -6 a lot of nights. It's called saxifraga. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. I'll put it up on the screen. And they are just absolutely gorgeous. So if you're looking for something in a cool climate to give yourself a little pop of flowers, I'm interested to see what's going to happen as they warm up. I'm suspecting they will need a little bit more shade. I wonder if the tag actually says. Yeah, they're going to need part shade, so I'll probably have to move those. I think they will be. They feel a bit fleshy. You know, they're a bit more of a fleshy sort of feel. I want to say a huge thank you to Uta Le Gall. I don't know if I've said your name right. I'm sorry if I haven't pronounced that correctly. Thank you so much. That's very generous. Through Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much. I always give a little shout out. And there's yours. I'll now reply to your message on Buy Me a Coffee and let you know this is the video your shout out's in. Anyways, moving along. I haven't got all the lemons off the lemon tree this season, but this is what happens if you don't and you live in a frost-prone area. The frost actually damages them and they go rotten. So some are okay, like this one's absolutely fine. Others got hit by the frost and it lets rot set in because it damages the flesh. So I will get onto that. And then this middle garden, which I built a few years ago. Let me just zoom out. This is where my hydrangeas are. And if you followed along last summer, it was very hard to keep them alive because we had such intense heat and very little water. So, you know, this is their 3rd season. This season, I am going to see what happens. Just leave them. See what happens. I will water. I've got another little section of the violets that have popped up in there. That's exciting. They might actually spread out so much and choke weeds for me, so that'd be great. I need to come in here and edge, tidy it all up, mulch, and just prep this bed. So I do have a bit of work to do before, well, the next month, most likely. All of my crepe myrtles, I'll talk about that when we go out to the field and have a look at everything because they have to all go in. And then we've just got some bay trees and just random things that we've potted up that we've got for free from places. So they're also going in. The palms. If you remember, we got those, I reckon it was in January, was it? I can't quite remember. It was at the end of summer and we had to really baby them through the heat to make sure they survived. And then the next anxiety was getting them through the frost, especially their first frost. And we have a feeling that this one isn't going to make it. You can see that it looks like the trunk is sucking in, like it's almost losing its moisture. And it is still pushing out blades, but then they die pretty quickly after they come out. So we think we might be going to lose this tree, unfortunately, but we'll see. The really big one, it had a massive root ball. It looks fine. It's really healthy. It's got nice new blades up there and they've survived. And then this one was the one we thought wouldn't survive because it had a tiny root ball. It actually has blades that come out and they survive. So we might actually have like a surprise here with this one. And the trunk doesn't have that ripply sunken in look to it. It's still a little bit wobbly. This one's very wobbly. I'll show you in a minute. This is a little bit wobbly. This big one is now stable. It's very stable. But this one is quite wobbly. It feels like there's no stability at all, which makes us think it's dying. But these stakes will still be on here, I'd say, for another couple of years, just to be 1000% sure they're not going to fall over. not much going on down here other than we'll walk past my laundry on the line. I have heard from many people over many years, because we have a lot of friends from the US and we meet a lot of people from the US that come to church, that hanging clothes on the line isn't as common in the US as it is in Australia. We pretty much all have clotheslines here, and the smell of the clothes is so fresh and beautiful. I'm about to put my sheets out. I'm washing sheets today, and I can't even describe how amazing it feels to make your bed with fresh sheets that have come in off the line, outside in the fresh air, and you get into them that night. I feel like it is the best sleep. Flip this around. This area, if you can remember back, there was those, I had veggie patch in here, and it just didn't work out because our grass is kikuyu and it's very, very invasive. And anytime I've ever put a raised bed in, it just eventually gets in there and you can't get it out. So you get about 2 good seasons. The 3rd season, you'll absolutely struggle trying to combat the grass. And then after that, you just can't get on top of it. So I've pulled that out, and the grass is growing back. It actually looks really nice. And then over behind the fence is where the flower meadow is. It's really not doing much, which I don't know if I should be worried or not. We'll go out and have a look. I mean, the grass hasn't taken off as quick as I thought it would, which is really good. Let's see. Oh, Pat's put a new post in. I wonder what he's up to. Maybe he's going to put a gate. That'd be amazing. I can see little plants, but it's not thick like I'd hoped. We are just going to have to wait on this one and see what happens, because these are the little plants and they are spread out. They're okay. I just don't think it's going to be the show like we thought it was. And in the meantime, Pat has gone crazy planting all these. Oh, that one looks a bit sad. Heaps and heaps of the pencil pines. I've been getting them for him at the wholesale nursery. I actually didn't realise we'd got to this many at this point. But anyways, there's a lot. So I think I can still get the tractor in over here, but it is a little bit more tricky now to get the tractor in. So the final shots on this paddock. Maybe that's why he's putting this pole. We might be going through the fence here to get in there from now on. So yeah, touch and go on that one. We'll have flowers. I don't know if it's going to look amazing like we thought. And the other problem we're having is, as you know, we have so many issues with wallabies. They just eat everything. And I can't help but think as soon as those flowers start to be obvious, like the plants, I think they're going to get in there and get them. So it's a bit of a worry. This area has changed a little bit, but I didn't really show too much of it online as it was, because it's always been a junk area, because you need somewhere to store your junk. This is just a pile of dirt. I'm trying to separate the grass, and then I'll be moving it. We've moved all the bricks, all the tin, concrete sleepers, just stuff that are resources. We've sort of tried to stack it up and keep it tidy over here, ready for summer, especially because of snakes. Where we live, there's a lot of snakes, and you kind of, they will come in and live under these piles of stuff. They love this sort of thing. I've kind of tried to do it in a way where there is a bit more visibility, and we just come out and grab things in the mornings while it's still cool. Here's the tiller. Love the tiller. There's just sort of junk everywhere. And this was all neat and tidy. I had all that wood stacked up in there and it looked really pretty, and it all fell over. So I need to come back and do that. But I don't know if you remember that those massive big spiders live in this wood pile, so I've got to deal with that again now. The idea that there's bears and rattlesnakes and wolves and everything, and polar bears, like in other countries, that freaks me out. I'm like, why would you ever go camping when there could be a bear? But we're dealing with stuff every day, like snakes and massive spiders, and you do get used to it. We are used to it now with just knowing a spider could jump out. So it's not great, but you do get used to it. Oh, I did clean up this shed. Got some old windows I need to get rid of. I need to get this stump out, and then we can start putting the doors in and start working on this. But I am suspecting I won't get to that until next winter now. More of the chopped up grass I've had to build this up a little bit. The tractor really sunk it down, and there's a big pipe that goes from this runoff dam down here. And I'm kind of dreaming, like, imagine if we set that up. It's a seasonal creek. Imagine if we set it up with big rocks and it looked beautiful, like a dry creek bed, and then when the water did run, oh, it'd look so pretty. Very big job, but it would look so good. Anyway, here's the oval. The reason this isn't finished out here is because there's a very shallow pipe from the dam going through, and I couldn't till in case I hit it. So I actually need to do all that by hand, and I haven't had time yet. We are going to oversow it all now with kikuyu and keep it moist. And in theory, just by the way grass grows, by about probably February, March, we'll have a really nice thick, strong lawn in here on the oval. So it is a very long process. This has taken the full sort of 6 months to get done. Very, very big project, but it is amazing. I don't know if you can remember, there was like a fence line here with junk and trees all along it. This was a very messed up paddock that really wasn't usable, and it was really, really boggy. So I have managed to slope it, and then there's a gully at the back that is supposed to run off. I need to finish it out the back when it dries up. We'll go for a walk around here, because the future plan for this space coming through here is a walking track, and then there'll be natives on this side. The pear trees, the Cleveland pears, are going in where those stakes are. I've got them spaced, I think it's 3.5 meters apart. It might be a bit close. If anybody has any knowledge on that or advice, I'm open to it. But we'll come down here. This will sort of be the back of the oval. It'll just be grassy. We don't plan on doing anything there. We'll just let the bush grow back. I'm going to pop a couple of stepping stones in here, but I can't do it until I've finished. This needs to be dug out a bit more, and it's got to go through to another runoff dam so it can actually, so the water can get away. But you will eventually walk across the stepping stones, and then this is more walking track that goes in through there, and the birch forest, which we still haven't got fencing on. I can see, look, animals are actually snapping things off now. So as soon as the leaves pop out on these trees, I think we're in trouble. So I need to get out here and get this fenced ASAP. But it's really nice, back of the oval. And then eventually we'll look out across here and you'll see the flower field will be nicely fenced. It'll look good. Won't have to have nets on everything, so it'll look a lot cleaner and tidier. This whole section, we plan to hire a big mulcher, and we'll just put mulch all the way around there. I'll have to get some cardboard. You can see the grass is coming back. I'll get in there and till that again to stop it from taking off. Our oak tree in the distance there. There is another little oak tree there too, but I don't think it's going to make it too well. But let's walk around. I had thought about putting like a little fence here, which could still be something we do in the future, because if you've been to an oval in Australia, like a footy oval, they are surrounded by it's kind of a distinct sort of fence. Oh, the wallabies are jumping around. They've seen me coming. And I sort of thought, would that be cool or not to mimic that? Just a little nod to the whole oval idea, or do I just leave it? I'm not sure. Now I'm going to take you up and show you, I reckon one of my most favourite things, and it was just one day. Like, I think all up it took about 6 hours to do. And I love it. It's this fire pit area, and eventually this will all be, we want to put natives all in here. It's got to all be water-wise. Moroni's got some dogwoods, which need water, but he's put them there just because we had to get them in so they didn't die. So they're in, but I can see the animals have knocked this one over, look. And I'll show you what they do. It's almost more likely that this was a hare. This is what they do. They've actually really damaged this. Look, they chew things off and they ring bark things. It is a real challenge. It's becoming more challenging, but the plan is fill this out beautiful. There'll be a little pathway, so you'll walk. Let me start over here. Coming up here, you'll walk in and there'll be just like a little walking track that goes through the gardens. I don't know if I'll get this in this year or when. I'll probably get the walking track done. And then you just come through here and here's the fire pit. Oh, I love it so much. And the reason I've done it as an oval, I mean, it kind of echoes the whole oval thing, but I've got a big cooking plate. So you'd light your fire and then you move the hot coals to one side and you put your cooking plate over and you can cook on the coals. So that's why it's like that. But all of this was stuff that we already had on our property. So we had the rocks from the retaining wall job. We already had the logs. Those were rocks from the retaining wall job. That big branch was we just cut it off a tree that had fallen over. I did order in this ground, like gravelly stuff. It's called buckshot. And it's a little bit like the concrete, like the crushed concrete, but I think it's a natural product. And it's dusty at the moment, but you compact it down and it'll rain or you wet it in and it goes hard. And it's a pretty common material used for walkways and pathways and things, especially in native gardens. You see it a lot. And I just love the colour of it. I think it's beautiful. And the long-term plan here is the gardens. So that's all we'll have to maintain up here. Is that bit of garden, and then we're leaving this bush grass. I need to pick up all those rocks. They're just spread across the paddock now because it's been a hard job trying to pick those up with the tractor sometimes, and they just kind of roll around like marbles. But leaving all of this as grass, this will all grow back. And the plan is to get one of those bell tents for the kids up here so they can have their sleepovers with their friends, build a picnic table, and then they've got their fire pit. And I just think it will be so, so, so cute. This section here, because the walking track goes in behind the birch forest and it goes up behind here, I would love to fill this in with a flower meadow, maybe even of billy buttons. I would love to do that. So that's potentially on the cards. Okay, let's walk on my pretend walking track. And let's head over to the flower field. Well, we still need to think of it. So I'm thinking cutting garden and veggie patch. I don't know. We need to think of something. But here we are. So plot 3 is just sort of sitting and waiting. I need to till it one more time just to try to get on top of the grass as it grows in spring. I don't think I'll get on top of it, but we can try in vain. This is going to take astronomical amounts of weeding this season to try to get on top of that. It's not going to go all the way to that pole. It'll stop about here and it'll have 2 grow tunnels, a big pumpkin patch. That trellis you can see in the background, I'm pulling that down. The whole thing's getting extended out a little bit, and I'll probably till up the back there as well. This is plot 4, which we won't get to this season, but I actually kind of feel uncomfortable about the fact we cut that out. It doesn't feel right for the land. So I need to do something to fix that. Smoothing off the edging so it's more hill-like is one of the options. And I think that's probably all we'll get done this season, to be realistic, because I want to do that before the tractor goes. Just so it's a bit smoother, it's not so harsh for the land, and it's easier to mow. So I think that's all I'll get done. And I do have some of the soil left that I can just maybe even soften that back corner and turn it into a rounded corner. So that's that. And then plot 3 is just going to be huge amounts of weeding for the season. I've really neglected plot 2 all season because I've been very tied up wanting to make the most of the tractor. But there's a lot of flowers. Wherever there's a hoop, there's plants under there. And I've got about half a row of asparagus to put in, which is going to be beautiful. And I need to move the strawberries from plot 1 so I can work on plot 1. And for the meantime, I might just pop them in here as a placeholder for this season. But it's not too much work. I just need to get in, do the edges, do a little bit of weeding. But when we get the fencing done, which is happening very soon, I'm hoping to mark it out next week, it's going to look amazing to not have to have the hoops and the net anymore, because the only reason I have that is to keep the wallabies off the plants, because they're really destroying everything, and it's the only way I can actually have my winter crops. But I really can't wait to get the fencing done. It is another major job, and I feel like I procrastinate these big jobs because I'm trying to hype myself up to just get in to do it. But speaking of hyping up, look what I did. Do you remember in here, like right at the back of plot 2 and sort of out there was a massive concrete pile? It was just horrendous. It was so messy, lots of concrete and soil, random bulbs everywhere. It was just a massive mess, and it was a bit of a snake fest. Well, I got in there and I did it. It took an entire week. Like, I worked on that all day, every day for 5 days straight. I kind of am in disbelief that I did that and that it's done. And it's not, I mean, while I was there, I smoothed it all out, made it nice, because I just thought if we get nothing else done to that this season, the grass will grow and we can mow it. Like, it's actually a manageable space, and I can see the snakes coming. There's also a road that's going in the back here eventually, and I'm building that up. There's still a low spot sort of here that I need to fix. But other than that, it's actually built up pretty well. That little bit of concrete I left because it looked like a good launch pad for the drone. I'm going to move that somewhere, so I've got somewhere flat for the drone, because when the grass grows I can't land it, unless the grass is really short. But yeah, like the plan in here is the fence line for the, what will we call it, cutting garden, flower field, I don't know. So it ends here, the plots end there. I'm going to extend the fence out to about here. And the plan is to put blueberries in this section, raspberries up the back there, and then behind plot 1, I've got to neaten all this up, make it nice, because it's very makeshift, because I just needed to protect it from wallabies. I want to put a nice long bench space with a sink here for veggie prep, and then opposite that have the compost bins, so you can access them from that road. But you can just chuck things over the back of it from here. And I really want to put some sort of a shade structure or pergola or trellis area here. So some poles in here. So I've got somewhere shady to sit in the middle of summer, because if you've watched me out in the field in the summer, it's exhausting. I get so tired because the heat sucks all the energy out of you. And I also want to do some fun things out here too. And I feel like if I had a space where I could sit in the shade, I could film more stuff out here in the summer. I would like to say I will get that pergola this season, but realistically probably not. And plot 1, I was going to set this up. I think I've talked about it. You might have seen my design outlines and everything with the blob gardens to make it really cool. But what I've decided, just so I can get my plants in, because they need to go in about a month, that end will be a gate, and I will just put a path that kind of meanders up through here and run. The whole thing will just be tilled, and I'll plant things in rows just for this season. And it'll allow me a little bit of time to really figure out what should be where and how it should look and what to do with the space. Because the plan is I want it to echo a backyard. Like, if you wanted to rip up your entire backyard and turn it into food, that's what I want this to be, so that it's not just me gardening in this huge space that most people don't have. It's out of reach for most people. I can actually show you what it could look like in your own backyard. That's the plan. So it might be a 2-year plan now. And while this year it may not be exactly how I wanted it, it would actually also give you that idea that if you want to get into it, you could literally just till your whole garden up now and get started on a backyard food forest, you know. Anyway, look at this. Can you see what's on the oval? I bought little concrete bunnies. Oh my goodness, and they're so cute. I saw them at a shop this week. And even though I'm trying to save money at the moment, I couldn't say no. Look at them, they're so cute. Look at them, they're just like little cartoony. They're nice shape. Like, they weren't realistic, but I think they're lovely. Look at them. So they now live on the oval, and I will put gates here. The first pear tree will be here, so eventually the canopy will be here, so you'll be able to see straight down into the field, into the garden, and then from the garden, which will look really, really nice. And I probably need to make sure the gate here is something. Oh, my camera is really, it doesn't self-level anymore. Hang on. One of the problems with using the gear so much is it wears out. The gimbal gets out of place and it won't go back. But I'll put a really nice gate here, and then you'll see straight out to the oval, and that first tree will kind of be here, and then it'll go around there, and then this will be nice and open. It's actually going to look amazing. I love it. So yes, that is the vision for the end of this growing season. Like, I hope all of that stuff is done. And even though I've made all this mess on the ground with the tractor running over it, obviously it's worth it. Like, I'm not complaining about that. And in some ways, those tracks are actually kind of cool because it's really compacted down where we want tracks. And it's given us a chance to think about, where do we actually really drive? So it's kind of carved out these natural pathways where we've just naturally driven things, and it's indicated to us of where we need to put tracks. I am so happy with what I've achieved. Like, unbelievable amounts of work, but it's been so good. It's only been possible, especially with my body, because it's not coping with a lot at the moment, because the physical labour hasn't been as intense. It's been so good, and I can't wait to get the fencing. Like I said, actually, I don't know if I said that or not. My plan is next week or the week later to start marking out. But next week I want to get there. So you'll probably see this in next week's video. You can hold me accountable. If next week's video is not me doing these things, you need to say in the comments, Phaedra, why haven't you done those jobs yet? Because the timeline is running away on me on these. But the things are, the asparagus, I've got to move the strawberries and get this all ready to be tilled. And I need to get these Cleveland pear trees in. So those are the 3 tasks that, if I haven't done it by next week's video, if that doesn't come up in next week's video, I need you to all say, where are those 3 jobs, Phaedra? You said you would do them. And now that you are all going to get at me about it, I'll probably do it. So there's a couple little things that I can't show you just yet. You will see them, especially if you're following along on the John Deere Australia New Zealand Instagram account. That's where they will pop up. And that's going to be really exciting. So thank you for being here. I am so excited and pumped for this season. I just feel like this is going to be the best season yet, especially with how neat and tidy everything is. Irrigation didn't get done. We do think that we can potter around on that over the summer though. Like, if I can get the rest of these little jobs done before summer, the irrigation we can, because we'll hire a trencher, we can get that sorted over summer, which, you know, at some point in summer the irrigation will get done. But it looks like we're hand watering. But at least I don't feel so unwell, because I remember last season I didn't put the plants in early because I didn't have the energy to hand water. So the season almost didn't happen last year because of that. Whereas this year I'll start seed sowing very soon. Should start that next week too, but I won't say that you should pull me up on that. Otherwise, I know you'll be pulling me up on something. If that happens, it's a bonus, let's say that. The seed starting needs to get going for my veggies and my summer crops, like the flower crops. And we'll just see where this takes us. I'm even considering again, what do I do with all the cut flowers? Do I just look at them? I have been thinking, what if, because there's a food bank in Wodonga, and I did talk to them years ago with the florist business, if we had leftovers, could we drop them off? And they said that would be lovely, but we almost never had leftovers. So I'm wondering, do I just make them and take them in there? And people who are getting food, they might get some flowers too. Like, maybe I could say to them, you know, don't make this a stamp-based thing. Make this just a freebie. Those who get in early get flowers. Like, I don't know how to make it work, but maybe I just supply the flowers and they figure it out. I don't know. So that's an idea. I think that could be really nice. And we'll probably supply the what's it called? The servo, which would be good too. And that's a little bit of extra money to supply my gardening addiction, which absolutely got out of hand this winter. But I'm so happy. It's been amazing. Like, I look around and I am just mind blown. There's one more thing I need to show you. And I don't think you will have seen this if you aren't following me on Instagram, because even though I haven't been on YouTube every single week over winter, I've been putting up most of the time it's daily stories. So it's the Phaedra Gardeness Instagram, and everybody's following along on there to see what I get up to. And they're like kind of like mini videos. But look at this tree, it's a big weeping cherry. There was a family that moved in to a property just around the corner from us, and they're ripping the garden out to put native garden in, and they had this beautiful weeping cherry. They did cut a fair bit of root off it. So it's a bit touch and go if it'll survive. I hope it will. We've babied it, we're watering it. I think we could probably cut a bit of the top out of it just so it's got less energy, less to deal with. But won't that be so amazing if that actually survives? And I cleaned this area up, added an extra rock in for retaining wall, and it looks really cool. And then of course this garden in front of the shed, because I've been so busy, I haven't weeded anything all winter. I really need to get in and clean this up and get it prepped ready for spring. And we are thinking about, this is a very water heavy garden, but it's been on a timer and everything, so it's been fine. But I feel like we haven't had a lot of rain over winter. I'd say we're in drought. We do have to be very mindful now of where we put the water. And as much as I loved that garden, I think what we need to do is over the next couple of years switch it over to water wires, natives and drought hardy plants, just moving forward. We don't have to worry about it. And so I'll just show you the garden that I'm talking about. It's this one. And this garden up here, it's always bothered me. I've never known what to do with it. And I think it just needs to be all water wires. It does have my helleboards in under the tree. They'll be fine. But other than that, thank you for watching once again. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and get ready for the most amazing growing season. I am absolutely so excited, and I'll see you in the next video.